to the Wind Hover. For inquiries, call the Philippine Jesuit Aid Association at telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892. Once again, Philippine Jesuit Aid Association, telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892.
Keep the Word of God strong in our lives. Keep the spirit of hope and the grace of healing alive every day. Keep the faith. Join us every morning for the celebration of the Holy Eucharist with the Jesuits from the Philippine province. Keep the faith. Daily Mass for Hope and Healing streams from Monday to Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning on Radyo Katipunan's Facebook page, YouTube channel, Twitter feed, and other social media partners. Tara na't simulan ng inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Father Cali Llamado ng Manila Cathedral at Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Light of Jesus Community dito sa Kapit Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Mabait ka kahit hindi masyadong halata. Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng, book author at editor. Magkapit pandasal muna tayo. Iba-iba tayong tingin sa ating sarili. Ang ating self-image ay nahubog ng ating dinaanan mula ng ating pagkabata. Naapektuhan din ito ng pagtrato ng ating mga magulang at iba pang mga importante at maimpluwensyang tao sa ating buhay. Ang orihinal na imahe na nilagay ng Panginoon sa ating pagkatao ay madalas nadudungis ng ating maling pagtingin sa sarili. Marami sa atin na mababa ang tingin sa ating sarili dahil sa ating mga kahinaan at kasalanan. Ngunit sabi ng mga ngaral na si Bo Sanchez sa kanyang bagong librong lalabas pa lang, tunay kang mabait kahit hindi masyadong halata. Bakit? Dahil yan ang imago Dei, the image of God, na itinatak ng Diyos sa ating lahat nung nilikha niya tayo. Basahin mo sa Genesis, sa unang 5 araw ng pagkalikha ng Diyos, sinabing siya'y nasiyahan sa kanyang ginawa. Ngunit sa ika-6 na araw, kung kailan niya nilikha ang tao, sabi ng Biblia, na lubos siyang nasiyahan sa kanyang ginawa. Oo, kaibigan, nalulugod ang Diyos sa iyo kahit ano pa ang nagawa mo. Tanggapin mo ang kanyang pagmamahal at hayaang lumabas ang iyong tunay na anyo, ang imahen ng Diyos. Tayo magdasal. Panginoon, tanggalin niyo lahat na nagpapadungis ng inyong anyo sa aking buhay. Amen.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of the eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong.
Lalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, ang social-political apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Welcome to another Friday episode dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Muli ako po si John Warren Marquez at kasama ko po ngayon ang ating mga kasamahan sa Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan. Brother Jaime Martin Candelaria ng Society of Jesus and JC Kirong, isang volunteer natin sa ating sinag-volunteer program ng ating SLB. Good morning, Brother Martin, and good morning, JC.
Good morning sa iyo,
Good morning!
Good morning din, JC. All right.
Okay, sige, sorry. Medyo naging uncomfortable ako sa akin. So, yeah, before we continue, no, kumustahan muna tayo saglit, no, bago muna tayo pumunta sa ating chikahan ngayong umaga nga ito. So, kumusta, Brother Martin? JC, wait, si JC muna tatanungin natin kasi ito yung debut ni JC sa kanyang radio broadcasting career, no? JC, kumusta naman yung ating buhay dyan these past days?
Kung ano lang talaga kung hindi ako nag-request ng favor kay Kylo, hindi ako pupunta dito Pero okay naman, oo. Medyo haggard lang sa trabaho.
Hindi, pakilala ka muna sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating mga katipunera at katipunera.
Ayun, no, so hello.
Ito si JC. Sino ba ito si JC?
So hello, no, ako si JC Kirong. So currently, volunteer din ako at saka researcher, no, for SLB. No? So, ayun lang naman, no?
Yeah, thank you, JC. How about you, Brother Martin? Kumusta naman yung ating mga araw, no? Sa mga nakaraang araw.
Ayan, so good morning po, no? Good morning po sa ating mga katipunera at mga katipunero, mga ating mga tagapakinig dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Ilang beses na rin po ako nag-host dito, no? At kung maalala niyo po, no, ako po ay isang Jesuit brother, Jesuit scholastic. Ako po ay kasalukuyang nag-aaral ng philosophy, no, sa Loyola School of Theology. Sa loob po ito ng Ateneo de Manila. At kung kamusta naman po, mabuti naman. Friday na ulit, no? So nakaraos na naman tayo ng isang linggo, no? At kami po ay busy sa aming pag-aaral at busy rin sa aming apostolate, no? Pero sa kabila ng kabisihan sa lahat ng bagay, nananatiling ang Diyos pa rin naman talaga ang gumagabay at nagsusustain, no, sa amin, no, at sa tingin ko sa ating lahat po. So magandang umaga po muli.
Gusto ko yung sinabi ni Brother Martin na yung Diyos yung nagsusustain natin araw-araw, di ba? No? So sabi nga, di ba, according to Saint Paul, no? Love, of course, God is love, di ba? It's not Saint Paul pala. I think it's Saint James, no? God is love, no? And of course, love sustains us, di ba? So yun, no? Again, good morning everyone. No, meron dito naman tayo sa ating talakayan ngayong umagang ito, no? So ang baling gagawin natin, JC, is makichismisan tayo dito, no? Kaya tinatawag natin. So welcome to the Club of Marites, no? Mga Marites na may analysis, no? So Marites na may Marites na may analysis, no? So yun, welcome sa ang gagawin natin, di ba? You were able to attend, no, yesterday sa ating news briefer. Meron tayong pinili ng mga topics na kung saan bibigyan natin ng komento, bibigyan natin ng ating mga analysis, no, kung ano ba yung sa tingin natin, shall we say, yung ating mga different na mga programs natin na related to this one. Okay? So yun, bale, tatlo yung pag-uusapan natin dito, no? Higher tax for luxury goods, no? Ito, no? Ewan ko kung ano yung masasabi natin dito about this one. Meron din tayong the resume of the international ICC.
International Criminal Court.
Criminal Court. Yeah, yun.
Yes,
International
ICC
Criminal Court.
for short,
Blank
no?
yung isip ko na kulang pa sa kape yata yung pagino ko na International Criminal Court, no? And then lastly will be mental health struggles, no? So ito yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon, no? Hopefully we will be able to give our proper analysis now regarding this one. Okay? So yun. Yeah. Punta muna tayo. So, isa-isahin muna natin, no? Para mas marami tayong mapag-usapan yung umagang ito. No, isa-isahin muna natin. Let's go first with higher tax for luxury goods. Okay? So yun, higher tax for luxury goods. Ano ba ang ibig sabihin nito? According sa ating news briefer, ano ba ang consequences? Ano ba ang, shall we say, is it a good thing or a bad thing or whatsoever, no? Brother Martin, can you share to us, ano ba ibig sabihin ng higher tax for luxury goods?
Sige, salamat siya, no? Sige, so simulan na natin yung ating marisis, no? So mag-share muna ako ng mga information. Ano ba yung latest, no, sa ating itong pinopropose na ito na higher taxes on luxury goods. Okay. So ang latest dito, no, ang ating presidente si Bongbong Marcos, no, according to this news article, Bongbong Marcos backs proposed tax hike on luxury goods. Ang ibig sabihin nito ay supportive po si presidente, no, dun sa pinopropose na tax hike on luxury goods. Okay, so last Tuesday, no, Bongbong Marcos said that he is supportive, no, of the proposal to impose higher taxes on luxury goods, saying that it is reasonable, to tax the consumption of luxury items. No, when he was asked, no, about his stance on the House Bill number 6993, yung ito ang pinopropose na higher taxes on luxury goods, no, sinabi niya, no, kung titignan nyo yung luxury items, mga magagarang kotse, mga designer na damit, at saka mga bag, lahat, no, hindi naman daw nagbabago yung presyo ng mga ito. Dahil yung mga bumibili nito ay mga may kaya, no? Kaya totoo naman, no, hindi masyadong volatile yung mga prices nitong mga luxury items na ito, no? Dahil hindi naman masyadong marami ang bumibili nito, at ang mga bumibili lang nito ay yung mga medyo nakakaangat. Okay? So ano pa, no? Ang sinabi niya, I think it's just reasonable to tax the consumption side, those consuming luxury items, no? Ang tanong, ano ba itong mga luxury items na ito? Okay? Under the proposed bill, okay, na ang nag-file po ng proposed bill na ito ay si Representative Joey Salceda. Okay, according to the proposed bill, a 25% luxury tax will be imposed on the following items, no? So there is actually a luxury tax. It is currently at 20%. Okay. But the bill is proposing to have higher taxes for luxury goods, no? From 20% to 25%. Okay. On what items? So ito na po yung mga luxury items, no? Na tataas ang kanilang luxury tax. Wristwatches, bags, wallets, and belts valued at more than 50,000 pesos. Okay, so imagine natin yung mga items, no? Wristwatches, bags, wallets, belts valued at more than 50,000 pesos. Okay, next. Beverages worth more than 20,000 pesos per liter. Okay. Antiques valued at 100,000. Okay, so for example, mga paintings, no, mga other antique items, no, and paintings valued at more than 1 million pesos. Okay. Okay, apart from these, no, the same amount of tax will also be imposed on automobiles, meaning mga cars, vehicles, valued at more than 10 million pesos. Okay, private aircraft and parts except those for the use of the Philippine government, A, airlines and logistic companies, and the sale of residential properties worth above 100 million. Okay, ano ba yung justification for this proposal? No, ang sinasabi nga ni Representative Joey Salceda, an estimated sales of 62.1 billion from these luxury goods may bring the government 15.5 billion in additional revenue. Okay, so that's also an additional revenue of 15.5 billion from the luxury tax, no? So, kung titingnan natin yung proposal, no, at yung justification nga nung bill, no, na actually from an amount of 62.1 billion of revenue, makakakuha tayo ng 15.5 billion tax, no, luxury tax from that revenue, which will be used as additional revenue for the government, no. So kung titingnan natin yung bill, no, parang okay siya, no, kasi it means additional revenue for the government eh. Okay? But is that all there is, no? So I'll stop sharing muna for the meantime, no. Given the news, no, given that information, do you have any thoughts on this proposal, Jan and JC?
JC, ikaw muna.
So medyo curious lang din ako, no, if ever clarified din, no, dun sa proposals, no, on what exactly yung minutiae nung what considers as a luxury item, no, kasi halimbawa ako, no, art history major ako, no, so parang biglang naglight yung tenga ko, no, nung narinig ko yung paintings at saka yung antiques, no, kasi if ever, no, especially when we talk about issues of heritage, no, so would that make it for example yung repatriation of items, would that make it more difficult, no, for communities to acquire, no, artworks, no, and then narinig ko din, no, yung residential areas, no, and other forms of property or land, tama ba? So how yung if ever na lumagpas nga yung specific amount, no, what hindi baka that would be very detrimental maybe for specific industries, no, or people who would seek land for specific businesses. So I'd also like to know more, no, kung matatamaan ba itong mga sectors na ito, no, with this tax. Yun lang.
Yes, thank you, JC. Before siguro we respond to that, Jan, how about
sure,
you?
Sure. Ako muna bago ka mag-respond. Okay. Sa akin naman, tatlong bagay. Una, well, of course, we know that the purpose of the bill is for the common good, no, at least so that our government will have more revenues that can be used, no, for the benefit of our people, no, and for the benefit of the for the benefit of the what you call this, pagpapalago ng the different projects of the government, no. Pangalawa, I think medyo lang siya, medyo meron siyang shade of a little bit this one, no, na parang the more that we put prices high, the more there will be separation between the middle class and the higher class, or the wider the separation will na ma-feel ng mga nasa middle class and the lower class, no. Kasi kung tutuusin, there are middle class who wanted at least not to experience luxury products, no. There are middle class, no, people na parang iniipon nila ito, no. They are setting aside money for this one so that they'll be able also to experience these luxury items, no. So yun, isang bagay yun, di ba? Pangatlo, perhaps this will also, I don't know, no, kasi I think I've already heard that many people ayaw na nilang bumili ng mga luxury items na binebenta dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi yun nga, medyo mahal siya, no, compared to other countries, no. Kaya ang ginagawa nila, they buy items, no, abroad, no. They buy items abroad, no, or kung meron silang kakilala doon, nagpapabili sila. And then pag umuwi, dito na sila babayaran, or binibigyan lang sila ng pera or whatsoever, no. So yun yung thoughts ko about it. Although there's nothing bad about this one, no. there's no bad thing about this, no. The ano lang is that yun lang yung for me medyo shady on my end, no. Yeah, maybe may response tayo, Brother Martin, with regard to the inquiry of JC.
With JC, no? Okay, salamat din dyan sa pagbigay ng iyong thoughts, no? So kung babalikan natin yung question ni JC, definitely, no, I have yet to personally review the proposed bill, no? But at the same time, I also think, no, definitely maapektuhan yung ibang sectors. Gaya nga ng sinabi na ni Jan, no? Actually, itong luxury tax na to, parang it doesn't apply naman to ano lang, no, to it really applies to all consumers, whether you are a billionaire or whether you are a middle class, no. So kung yung middle class na gustong bumili ng luxury item would also have to pay the tax, no, kasi yung tax na yon is levied on the luxury item and not on the wealth or the economic status of the buyer, no. So it affects every buyer, no. So aside from the middle class, I would also imagine apektado rin dito yung mga ibang sectors. I think may nabanggit si JC dito kanina, no. Paano naman yung mga communities na gustong magkaroon ng repatriation of products or repatriation of items, no. I think maapektuhan rin sila nito, no. Dahil from my understanding of the bill, any item that is considered luxury, meaning exceeding a particular price, sa kanila magti-take effect yung ating tax, no. So ganun yung intention nung bill or nung law once it is passed, no, is to really tax the consumers who are buying these luxury items on the assumption that I think ito yung inaano ng government, no, yung mga bumibili lang naman yan ay yung mga may kaya, okay, ay yung mga may pera, those who can afford, no. So on that regard or on that sense, no, President Bongbong Marcos says that it's just reasonable to do this, no. Although, if I may add, no, gaya din nung napag-usapan natin sa ating news briefer kahapon, no, may mga ibang usapin din eh. Merong mga ibang nagko-comment, no, about this proposed luxury tax, no. At isa na nga dito ay yung Ibon Foundation, no, Ibon Foundation, who is proposing and who is saying na on the other hand, okay, what can be more beneficial is not just raising the taxes on luxury goods, but actually passing a wealth tax bill or a wealth tax law, no. Ito na nga yung sinasabi, no. Ano naman yung wealth tax law? It's going to tax billionaires, okay, people of a certain income bracket, no. And from this, no, we can generate a lot of money from their taxes, no, actually, no. So ang sinasabi ng Ibon Foundation, okay, there is nothing wrong about raising taxes on luxury goods, but at the same time, it should not be a substitute. Okay, it should not be a substitute to a possible wealth tax, no. Kasi kung gagawin yon, yung possible wealth tax na yon, malaki talaga yung ma-generate natin na revenue by taxing the billionaires, which, by the way, are only around 3,000 individuals or families in the entire Philippines. Imagine that, 3,000 billionaires out of how many na tayo ngayon in the Philippines? 110 million. No? So it's not even 1% of the population. And yet, they have possession of a lot of wealth. They just have too much money. No? Parang yun yung sinasabi natin. Yun yung point ng wealth tax, if ever. No? But sad to say, no, because of the political dynamics here in the Philippines, no, as well as ating ideologies, so as a country, and also the way that our government works, and partners with the private corporations, parang mahirap yata siyang i-push.
Mhm.
But just to float that idea na meron din, no, meron ding nagla-lobby for a possible wealth tax.
Yeah, gusto ko yung sinabi mo, Bro Martin, no? Tawag dito, kasi kung tutuusin talaga, no, if, 'di ba, yung lagi nating sinasabi ito sa ating mga national situationers, 'di ba, na yung distribution of wealth natin, ang nangyayari, no, kung sabihin na natin na merong 10 tao, no, yung 10 tao na yon, yung 10 tao na yon ay naghahati sa ating kabuang pera ng ating bayan, no? Yung siyam na yon naghahati sa 90% ng pera. Isang tao lang ang may hawak sa, sorry, baliktad. Baliktad, no? 10% ang pinaghatian ng siyam na tao, 90% hawak ng isang tao lamang, no? Parang yun yung ano, yun yung nangyayaring injustices in terms of the money distribution natin, no? Yung parang konting-konti lang yung percentage na pinaghihatian sa sobrang daming tao, no? Sa sobrang daming tao, sobrang maliit na percentage lang ang pinaghatian, ang perang pinaghatian ng sobrang daming tao, whereas yung sobrang laking percentage ay napupunta sa napakakonting tao lamang, no? And yun yung parang irony na nangyayari dito sa ating bansa, no? And is it possible na magkaroon ba ng wealth tax? We don't know, no? Most probably not in our lifetime, no? Especially if
Grabe naman yung lifetime.
no? Di natin alam kasi of course, no, the trend in politics here in the Philippines is that politicians tend to be backed by businessmen, di ba? That's a reality, no? And of course, if you're a politician, no, if you're a politician backed up by, no, wealthy people during the time of the election and the campaign period, you know that's what's the result already. 'Di ba? No? So if binibigyan ka ng pera ng malalaking establishments during the time na tawag dito na nagkakampanya ka for a particular position, then it's already expected, no, that you will in one way or another protect the what you call this, the interests of those who are backing you up during the elections, no? So mapapansin natin, di ba? Mapapansin natin yung mga issues na napag-uusapan natin, it will always have an interconnectedness with other issues in politics. Now, for example, when we talk about economy, it will always go back during the elections, during our political culture here in the Philippines, no? So yun, mapapansin natin, it's not just one side of the coin. We will look at all faces of the coin, no? JC, do you have something to say?
Ano lang, no? In addition lang, no, dun sa kanina. Parang, doon sa sinabi mo kanina, no, parang, ano din if ever, na ayun nga, we look at the current setup, no, and yung odds ng wealth tax, no, and if we just accept, if yung language natin, no, would be that of resignation, no, I think wala talagang mangyayari in the near future, no. So I think, no, the way we also frame our discourses, no, would also heavily affect, no, yung mga reforms na we are trying to advance, no. So ayun lang, no. Gets naman
Meron
ako, no?
last comment, no, for this one before we move to our next topic. Sabi, I've heard someone, no, that I've heard this from someone na sabi nila, can businessman, kahit at least man lang, no, sacrifice years na hindi sila magkakaroon ng profit from their business. Kasi kung tutusin, kung hindi sila makakaroon ng profit, o kung merong decline, no, kung merong decline of profit, percentage of profit sa kanila, hindi naman sila mawawalan ng yaman. Mayaman pa rin sila. 'Di ba? Naka-mute kaya Bro Martin.
Sabi ko lang exactly. Exactly. Oo, in
Oo,
fact, I
oo.
can provide figures, no? Pero sige, tapusin mo muna dyan.
Yeah. You can tell na yung figures na sinasabi mo.
Yes, yes. Sa totoo yung sinasabi ni Jan, no? Kahit naman i-tax natin sila ng 1% or 2%, mananatili
Yeah.
pa rin naman silang mayaman, no? And in fact,
Oo.
I can give figures, no? Base rin dun sa nabasa ko. And this is also, I think, a way of what JC was saying earlier na paano ba natin i-frame yung discussions natin around these issues, no? Para sa akin, one way that we can do that is to really become aware of the information and to share that information with others, no? So that information will actually, no, maybe strong word naman yung insight, no, but at least to inspire some action, no, among us, no, if we share this kind of information, no. And I would like to do that, no. This is more on the economic perspective, no, and in terms of figures, no, sinasabi dun sa 3,000 billionaires na nabanggit ko kanina, they have a collective wealth of 8.2 trillion pesos. That's their collective wealth. Pag samasamahin mo lahat ng yaman nila, we will have 8.2 trillion. Okay? But if you tax them, doon sa possible wealth tax, if you tax them, for example, no, they will still be left with 7.7 trillion. No? Parang marami pa rin silang pera, no? Kahit i-tax
Yeah.
natin sila ng 1%, no? At yung mapupuntang pera sa gobyerno, dahil ang point nga ng mga tax laws, no, is wealth distribution, ay malaki talaga. No? Malaki talaga. No? Kaya naman ang sinasabi nito, yes, the proposed higher tax on luxury items is good, no? It will generate for us around 15 billion. But if we do, or if we also pass, no, a wealth tax, it will also give us hundreds of billions in return, no. Parang just to give give a perspective, no, comparison of what we can possibly get, no, if we have a wealth tax, no. That's on the economic side, no. So hopefully parang knowing these things, no, would allow us to have, I don't know, stronger opinions, stronger convictions, no, regarding these issues.
Yeah, may nag-comment dito sa ating live stream, no. Hindi ko siya kilala. Ang pangalan niya Carlo Abadines. Kilala niyo ba 'to? Hindi ko siya kilala. No, hindi ko siya kilala, no. Sabi niya dito, to address some inequalities in the country, kailangan talaga mag-push ng mga reforms that would lessen the wealth of the richest of the rich. The question is, how do we build the collective power to push for something like a wealth tax?
Correct.
'Di ba? Carlo, ang hirap ng tanong mo. Bakit parang feeling ko nasa comprehensive exam ako dito sa no? I mean, the question naman talaga, no, it will go down to what kind of political culture do we have? 'Di ba? We are in a country wherein our political culture is that yung ating mga hindi ko nila lahat, no, at least many of our politicians are backed up or tinutulungan ng mga big establishments. And of course, if they are being helped by big establishments, they will always push for, or if not always, no, at least try their best, no, to push for the interest of those who were helping them during the elections. So sana ma-realize ito ng ating mga kababayan, no? Ating mga kababayan na the question on taxes will have a connection, no, to how do we run our political system? How do we run our political culture here in the Philippines, no? So moving forward, no, let's go to our next topic. No, 30 minutes yung naalot natin sa tax na ito. No, 30 minutes yung naalot natin sa tax na ito, and we go now to another discussion, no, regarding the regarding the ICC's resume, no, in investigating the health in discussing investigating the drug war here in the Philippines, no? JC, can you at least give us a Can you give us at least a short, shall we say a short yung mga naalala natin kahapon, no, regarding sa ICC probe, no, or the resume of the ICC probe here in the Philippines, no? So yun. JC. Ay, sorry. Nakamute yata, JC. Okay, so medyo na si JC, no, medyo nagkaroon ng technical problem, no. So basically no, ang nangyayari dito ngayon is that ang ICC, no, the ICC Philippines appeals a resumption of ICC probe, no. This is according to Rappler, no. The notice is dated last February 3, days after the ICC pre-trial chamber authorized the resumption, no, and resumption of the investigation. Now, the Marcos government asked the court to suspend the probe pending its appeal, no. Now, on January 26, the ICC pre-trial chamber authorized the resumption of the probe into the killings. These include the deaths related to Davao Death Squad and the bloody drug war, both under Duterte, former President Rodrigo Duterte. Now, when the ICC published the latest move, Guevara immediately said that the Marcos government would appeal the decision of the ICC's appeal chamber. No, so in making the proposal, the Philippine government asked the ICC to accept its request to suspend the proceedings in accordance to the Article 4, Section 4, and Article 82 of the Rome Statute, Rule 154 of the Rule of Procedure and Evidence, and the Regulation 64, Section 1 of the Regulations of the Court. No, however, no, Caritas Philippines said appealed to Marcos, will at least urged the Marcos administration to allow an international investigation on former President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs, which led to the deaths of thousands of people. No, so sabi dito, no, if the government has nothing to hide, then it has nothing to fear. Any thoughts or comments regarding this one, JC and Brother Martin? Let's start with Brother Martin.
Sige. Thank you, Jan, for sharing with us this information, no. Siguro dun muna tayo sa political side. Kasi meron din church side, no, of the story, no. So dun muna tayo sa political side. So ano ba yung nangyayari, no? Ang administration ay parang magpa-file ng appeal, no, against the resumption of the trials, no. At bakit kaya nila gustong i-appeal, no, na hindi magtuloy-tuloy, no? There can be a lot of reasons, no. I think it's a sensitive issue also for the government, no, and for those sitting on power. We know that the drug war has been the work of the previous administration, no, and those in power right now parang are enjoying a particular relationship with Duterte, no, in particular, no. So that could be one of the reasons, no. And then itong ginagawa nga na pag-appeal, no, against the resumption of the trial, meron ding nagsasabi na I think from the ICC, if I'm not mistaken, no, parang they see this as a delaying tactic, or parang a move to distract the public, no, from this issue, no. Quote ko lang din yung sinabi, no, by a certain Aurora Parong, no, co-chairperson of the Philippine Coalition for the International Criminal Court, no. Ayun nga, no. So yung tinutukoy ko kanina ay co-chairperson ng International Criminal Court. Ang sinabi niya, the Philippine government's appeal at the ICC doused cold water to the ray of hope for justice at the International Court among the families of the tens of thousands killed in the war on drugs. No? Where is the commitment to human rights, which President Marcos Jr. repeatedly talks about in his diplomatic meetings? Where is real justice in real time that is repeatedly announced by Justice Secretary Rimulya? No? So I guess there's a lot of tensions going on right now on the side of the administration. No? Of course, the administration is parang on the surface, they are saying that they are supportive of the promotion and the safeguarding of human rights, no? As any government would say, no? But is that all there is? No, ayun na nga yung sinasabi natin kanina. If they are supportive of this, no, the promotion of human rights, no, why the appeal against the resumption of the investigations, no? Meron bang tinatago? Meron bang pinagtatakpan? Meron bang pinoprotektahan? No? Or baka naman gusto lang nila na they would do their own investigation. Gaya nga nung nabanggit na rin ng previous administration. They will just do their administration. Why let an international body do it when we can do it ourselves? There are many, many reasons, and I think there's a lot of tension going on right now. No? So yun muna. Yun muna.
JC, meron ba tayong may dagdag?
Ano lang naman, no? Just thinking about yung international relations, no, and yung scope ng power ng ICC. Well, hindi naman ako expert nito, so hindi ko alam yung exact na details na regarding this issue. No, ano ba yung kanyang implementing capacity, no, towards putting verdicts, no, and if ever na ma-push through, no, yung kaso against the Duterte administration, no, what are the consequences, no, and how could they push for those consequences, no, lalo na medyo anarchic, no, yung international system, no? So I've been thinking, no, how would the international community, no, if ever they actually care about this, no, put leverage, no, in for us to push through, no, with these kinds of efforts, no. Pero thinking of also yung mga leverage, no, I think if ever na this gets used more often, no, it could also be potential avenues, no, for more uneven international relations, no. Pero maybe I'm not hindi ako maalam enough, no, in the issue, no, to pronounce those kinds of statements. So gets back ako.
Yeah.
Thank you, JC.
Okay, no, so yun. For me naman, no, well, tama yung sinabi ni hindi naman tama. So parang I also think the same with what Brother Martin said, no, na baka this is just a delaying tactic, no. Pinapadelay nila yung investigation on one end, no, kasi it's been actually ginagawa ito, not just in this situation, ginagawa ito in many courts, no, na wherein, for example, para hindi bumilis yung pagbigay ng desisyon ng judge, ang ginagawa is that, for example, nagpapalit ng lawyer o di kaya nag-a-appeal, no? And it will, of course, no, run for many years and months, no, sa court, and it will create delaying tactics, no. And for me naman, no, the Philippines had already been given a chance to investigate on its own, diba? Sabi nila, there's no what you call this, there's no need for ICC to come here in the Philippines because we will conduct our own investigation. Okay. So that's the first premise that they did, no? But of course, months have already passed and the investigation is slow ang kanyang progress. That's why the ICC came to the picture again, no? Now, ang ano dito is that at least, no, in the recent investigations na nangyayari, there was this one what do you call, sorry, I forgot the term, but what do you call forensic expert ba 'yon? Tama, di ba, Brother Martin? yung pumunta dit yung try to do another chinek ulit yung mga bodies ng ating mga nasawi, no? As most especially si Kian de los Santos, no? The case of Kian de los Santos, wherein nakita nila na there were questionable procedures na, I mean, the procedure in checking the body of Kian de los Santos were questionable, no? So yon, there were isang sinabi doon na nagsabi sila na meron daw laman yung tiyan ni Kian de los Santos, no, na parang pagkain. No, of course that's not something bad. In the report na ginawa ni sa autopsy report na ginawa ng PNP, no. Pero sabi ng nag-autopsy ulit na how can they say na merong laman yung tiyan well, in fact hindi naman nila binuksan yung tiyan. And they also found out na there was a bullet found that was not found in the autopsy report. Okay, so there was a question on how authentic the autopsy report was. There was a question already, no? That's just only for one person. How about the other victims of the war on drugs? Okay, so yon. Hopefully, no, justice is just what the victims are, or the family of the victims are crying, no. Justice is what they want to have. No, they don't want anything else. They just want justice. And of course, sabi natin kanina that love is important, and we know that justice is the minimum expression of love. No. Do you have something to add before we move forward to our discussion?
Maraming salamat dyan, no. Gaya nga din nung nabanggit na share natin sa kapihan natin kahapon, no. We also have to look at the reality rin na since it is Bongbong Marcos who is in power right now, no, parang in a way any hope of delivering justice to these families, no, na namatayan, naging biktima ng war on drugs, no, is very minimal, no, if not impossible, no, because of whatever relationship the Marcos and the Dutertes have, no? So parang ganun siya, no, ganun yung reality na meron tayo ngayon, no. And at the same time, no, we, no, as a church, no, continue to, sabi nga ni Jan kanina, continue to pray for the victims. We stand in solidarity with the victims, no? And at the same time, also try, no, tingnan natin, no, how we can support the church in its efforts, no, to be in solidarity with the victims, no. Dahil alam ko meron namang efforts din ang church na ginagawa, no, to be in solidarity with the victims, no. And most recently, shared nga by Jan, no, a while ago, no, the church is actually urging the current administration, no, to allow an international investigation, no, of the killings, no. And the church is also calling on all sectors, especially the academic and business sectors, to join the campaign and advocate for a culture of respect for human dignity and protection of human rights for everyone, no. So beyond the possibility of the resumption of the killings, no, I think what we should also do as a church is to stand with the church also, no, to advocate for a culture of respect for human dignity and protection of human rights for everyone, no. Yun lang din, no.
Thank you for that, Brother Martin. JC, do you have something to add?
Ano lang din, no, regarding the sa ICC. Maybe ano din, It's actually quite quite disappointing how I would have to rely no, on international courts no, just to exact justice no on our no on victims of state violence no. And ayun doon natin makikita no how weak no our political institutions are no and how um almost powerless no our community organizing efforts and people's organizations no. And I think no for us no, I think that's a wake up call for us no to actually no reinvigorate our efforts no to exact accountability from our government, from ourselves no. So ayun lang no.
Okay, no. Thank you for that, JC, no. So hopefully, no, sana magkaroon man ng hustisya yung ating mga kababayan na nanghihingi nito. Okay, now let's move forward, no. In our mental health crisis issue, no, Brother Martin, can you share to us ano ba ibig sabihin nitong health crisis nito na sinasabi natin, no, sa ating news briefer ng kahapon?
Sige, I can maybe share no, a little bit no. But siguro just to also parang mention to our viewers no, there might be sensitive information no.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
disclaimer lang.
regarding this news no. But at the same time we also want to also be sensitive no as we share this information no. So regarding mental health no, yung latest news lang din talaga dito no. Sige, I'm just looking at my notes no. Okay no. In terms of mental health no, sabi in the year of 2021 to 2022 no, there have been 404 student suicides no na observe no. And then apart from these cases of suicide no, there also been a lot of students who have attempted suicide no. And apart from that also considered or thought about taking their lives no. So siguro not so much on the issue of the morality of suicide or even the act of it. Siguro maybe we can focus our discussion on the accessibility of mental health services no. Siguro that would be a better focus to take no, in discussing this issue no. Because no, apart from the information that I have shared earlier, parang in the Philippines nationally we are also experiencing in a way no, a shortage of mental health professionals or mental health practitioners no, such as guidance officers no. So far no, given the number of students no, in the Philippines, ang sabi there is only one mental health professional for nearly 13,400 learners or students no. Imagine that ratio. You only have one mental health professional for nearly 13,000 learners no. I doubt if that one guidance counselor or mental health professional will be able to really meet no those 13,000 learners no. So that's a problem that we also have no in terms of mental health no. Siguro I'll stop there sharing no. Now what are your thoughts no about this, Jan and JC?
JC muna. After ni JC ako.
Sige. So ano lang no. Yun nga, looking into the yung backlog no nung ating mental health workers no. Given na yung statistics no very staggering no. 20% of young Filipinos have thought of committing suicide. So that's 5 million children no. And yung backlog of mental health professionals no, na, like ayun nga yung one mental health professional for 13,000 students no. So makikita natin no, kung gaano ka under valued no yung mental health and yung mental health professionals no. And Yun nga, I think yung article no would demand for higher pay, no, pero I think we have to look into the various cultural factors, no, behind no that kind of attention, and we'd have to question no our view of health, no, and our view of healthcare, no, kasi halimbawa no is mental health actually integrated, for example, into our health insurance systems, no, kasi yung bayad ng, for example, psychiatrist, therapist, and meds, sobrang taas yan, no? And hindi natin monthly, magkano ang magagastos, no? And does the government or the specific institutions actually help ease the burden, no? And even yung very training itself no of our mental health of our medical health professionals, integrated ba ang mental health no into the formation of new doctors and new medical workers, no? So makikita natin yung separation no between physical health and mental health that I don't think no it actually should work that way, no? Kasi halimbawa no makikita natin mukhang may mental health epidemic din sa mga no sa mga medical schools, no? So mayroong mga kaso ng people who actually commit suicide, stress levels, and so on and so forth, no? So ayun, makikita nga natin yung problema, no? Not just with our compensation, no? But also our overall view of what health is. So ayun lang, salamat.
Yes, no. Sige, Jan.
Yeah, thank you. Gusto ko yung highlight mo, Bro Martin, no, that the scarcity of mental health professionals. Kasi for example, no, if we say in a school setup, no, I think there's only one guidance counselor that is in charge of, shall we say, 2,000 students. Diba? And of course, I think if I'm not mistaken, iba mga psychology graduates ba ito? Tama? Usually yung mga and you need to have license
yes
to practice this one, no, and then aside from that, no, you or psychiatrist or whatsoever, no, how do you call what I don't medical psychologists, no, for instance, no, and then if napapansin natin that it also goes to the graduate of psychology going to corporate world. No, for example, if you're kasi nagiging trend ito, if you're a psychology graduate, you work for an HR position.
Yes.
Diba? Kasi mas malaki sahod, no, compared to magiging guidance counselor tayo, no, in a school, no, or whatsoever, kasi hindi natin magkaroon ng license in order to practice that one, no. No, hopefully sana magkaroon dito kasi many people, no, ang actually need lang ng mga tao is merong isang taong makikinig sa kanila. Di ba? Merong taong pakikinggan yung kanilang hinanaing, ano yung kanilang nararamdaman, no? Kasi in a process of healing, no, healing one's mental health, most people actually need is an ear, no, a person whom they can share their experiences and their emotions. No? And good thing, well, at least hindi ko naman sinasabi that it also limits to that one. Good thing meron din tayong mga religious people who are openly hearing their sentiments, no. And of course, no, I'm not saying na it's effective. Why? Because if religious people are hearing these things, no, I don't think they have enough ability or capacity to listen to mental health issues. Kasi of course, spiritual direction is not the same with counseling. Diba? And usually ito yung na taken out of context na uy, kung meron tayong makinig, mag-share tayo kay brother ganyan or mag-share tayo kay father ganyan, 'di ba? And religious people are experts in terms of spiritual direction, but they are not that expert in terms of psychological processings, no. So yun. May dagdag pa tayo, Brother Martin.
Yes, yes, yes. Siguro last na lang, no? So thank you, Jan, no? Yes, no, while resources, no, is an issue, no? Yung kakulangan ng mga guidance counselors, yung pagpapasweldo ng mga guidance counselors, gaya nga nung nabanggit ni JC, it's an entire cultural thing, no? Na parang if we want to address the issue, no, parang we should also address the culture, no? Dahil nga no, isang pinopropose na measure no or solution for this so is taasan daw yung sweldo ng mga guidance counselor, which of course is also good, no, but this alone would not solve the answers. There must be other more institutional and, may I say, cultural ways of responding to the issue, no, like fostering and promoting safe spaces and a culture of protection, ganyan. And yung nabanggit na nga ni Jan kanina, no, na hindi lang naman actually mga guidance counselors ang pwedeng makinig, no, sa mga tao na nakaka-experience ng mental health struggles, no. The job of creating such a culture is not just the responsibility of guidance offices. No, in Ateneo, for example, there are other offices, no, that can serve as, safe spaces for students. No, but of course that is Ateneo. No, it's a different story outside. No, but the point is, no, not only guidance counselors should be involved, no, but other people as well. Religious, no. But then again, sa religious naman, there's also a question of ability or formation. No? But I think there are also some efforts, no, for religious people, no, to also be equipped, no, at least with the basic and the necessary listening skills, no, to be able to listen to people who are struggling with mental health issues. No? But all in all, parang what I can think of right now lang is for DepEd and CHED or whatever, no, to really make mental health a priority, no, even as we are trying to resolve gaps in education, literacy, etc. Parang mental health is also a pressing problem, no, that needs resources, no, budget allocations, and whatnot. No, in order to address din yung sinasabi kanina ni JC, no, na parang the divide or the gap between the physical and mental health, which should not be, no. So this is just also me, no, calling and appealing to our education department, no, to please do something about this.
Yeah. So one last remark, no, kasi of course, no, why is it rising? Because students now, at least in the past 2 years, are doing their schooling at home, and marami sa kanila nagsistruggle. Hindi alam or don't know how to self-study, no. So yun, and it also lessens their what you call this, self-esteem, no. Kung nakikita nila na mababa yung kanilang grades, no, and sometimes they feel that they are a failure, no, which is supposed to be not, no. So yun. Okay? So yeah, marami tayong sana pag-uusapan pero sadly we only wala na tayong natitirang time. Any last remarks, Brother Martin and JC, to our viewers?
Siguro mag one word tayo, no, na parang siguro message natin or insight or whatever na gustong ipabaon sa ating mga viewers. So I'll start. Maybe for me it's that stubborn hope, no. Kasi sabi nga ni Father Pat, no, na aming director sa SLB, the stubborn hope, to amidst the seeming hopelessness of all things, for example, no, yung sa issue nga with the ICC, the reality of mental struggles, no, and at the same time yung ating parang seeming helplessness in terms of ano ba talaga yung magiging best solution natin in terms of taxes, no. So parang daming issues, no, and sometimes it seems so hopeless, but let's continue to have that stubborn hope, no, and let's continue to beg for that grace of stubborn hope.
Sige, so ako na lang, sa akin naman siguro, no, ayun nga, despite no everything no that's happening, no, and all the societal problems that we have been experiencing, even within the home, no, especially in the context of the mental health epidemic, um, hey, you just have to keep going, no, and strive, no, for better conditions for everyone, no, and just keep swimming, no. So, ayun lang. Salamat.
Okay, sa akin naman, no, sobrang dami natin na pag-usapan ngayong umaga na ito, and hopefully, no, isa lang na talaga yung gusto nating mangyari dito is that all of us will have or will experience the common good, no. Yeah, hopefully, no, time will come that everything will be well, no, and of course we need this one. We need the guidance of our Almighty God in order to achieve this one, no. So muli, mga katipunero at katipunera, maraming salamat sa pakikinig, and see you next week dito sa Radyo Katipunan, Kuwentuhang Bayan. Thank you everyone, and have a nice day.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, ang social-political apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan. Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.